Hello, everyone. My name is Noah Addy. I'm the Director of Engineering at Concur, and I'm very, very happy to have you guys join us today. Um, I currently run the Concur Mobile team that's based in Bellevue, and I also run Concur Government, a team based in Washington, D.C. And as of 2 weeks ago, I took over the Core UI team. That is a team that builds reusable components across all of Concur and SAP. Um, what you see here is my team in Bellevue. And this was my very first week at Concur, where I got a chance to share my story and my journey to America with this team. I got a chance to introduce myself, to kind of just have them understand my leadership style and what I was about and where I see us going as a team. But you won't understand my story well unless you understand where I came from and how I got here. So I will use this opportunity to tell you a little about myself. What you see here is my mother. Her name is Mafio, and sadly, she passed away a little over a year ago. I grew up in Ghana, West Africa. I grew up in an incredibly poor family. I came to the US in 2001 with $200 in my pocket. That is all I had. I had no access to student loans, and so I had to work and pay for school and college out of pocket. I was literally working 60 hours a week, 60 hours a week, while double majoring in computer science, mathematics, and a minor in business. In the summer, I kid you not, I would work 100 hours a week. I had two full-time jobs, one in the morning as a nutrition assistant. So I would go to work from 6 in the morning until 2:30. I didn't have a vehicle at the time, so I would run to my other job and be there by 3, where I would do janitorial work. I mopped toilets, I cleaned dishes, I swept the floors, and that's how I got here. And the reason I tell you this story is because I got my work ethic from my mother, a woman who never went to school, who had no education, but who worked so hard to get me to where I'm at. One story that I always remember, when I was about to go to high school and she realized she didn't have enough money to get me to high school, she decided to pick up another job by selling fried plantain. In Ghana, we call it kelewele. By selling fried plantain in the evenings after she would spend long days at the market. And one night, I clearly remember this. She was sitting next to boiling hot oil, and she was so tired and exhausted from a long day of work that she fell asleep and almost fell into this boiling hot oil. And I remembered it looking at this, and I told myself, God, if I ever got to a point in life, I would never watch my mother work a day in her life. And I was able to live up to the promise. I bought her a house and a home for her to live in, and it's one of my proudest achievements. I share this story with you because that is the kind of work ethic that I got from my mother, and that is what has shaped my journey and my success in my career. I'll start off by telling you why I love working here. The reason I love working at Concur is because it feels like a family to me. And this was very apparent when my mother passed away. The company rallied behind me. Executives across the company, from the CTO to directors to other executive leadership, rallied behind me and supported me majorly for me to deal with my mother's funeral and some expenses. And it is such a touching thing that I can't stop talking about it. I've worked at so many companies. I have never felt treated like this at any company. This is part of my team. And I love working here. They've created such a wonderful culture, and it really makes me very excited to work at the company. The photo you see in here is another very special moment of my time at Concur that I will never forget. One of my engineers, his name is Ashish, got married to a wonderful bride in India, and he was trying to get this lady over here, and the team rallied around. We put money together to help him. To help him kind of get his bride to the U.S., and he was so full of joy. And I'm looking at the look on his face, and it was just so wonderful. But the message I shared with that team on this day was how valuable it was for a company to come to somebody like me during my low point, and also to rally around someone during a high point, as in marriage, a new bride. It was just wonderful, and it makes me so happy and proud to be here. So how can you find your place here? And what I'm going to share with you is also lessons that I've learned from shaping the careers of 45 different people single-handedly. Some of these people had no college degrees. Some were in industries and jobs that they didn't feel fulfilled in. And so I decided that based on my experiences in tech industry, that I would help shape the careers of these people. And some of these people were able to completely change careers and actually end up finding jobs at places like Microsoft, Amazon, Samsung. Some are managers, some are software developers now, some are UX designers, and some people actually bought homes, which, gosh, makes me so proud to see how somebody can be able to make the determination to learn new skills and get themselves to new heights. And I'll touch on this a little bit through my talk. So what you see here, this photo represents some of the people whom I mentored. They would come to my home on weekends, and I would share my story, my experiences, and my journeys with them. And I'm so proud of so many of them to be able to find very great success. So how can you find your success at Concur, or for that matter, at any other company on earth? Number one, you should care about what you do. When you care about what you do, there's a certain level of passion and care that you bring to your work, and it goes a very long way. The other thing is for you to take initiative. Initiative goes a long way. When you take initiative, you don't wait to be told what to do. You just go above and beyond to try to do the right thing, and it's very critical. And that has played a very, very strong role in my career. I remember when I first got my software developer job, nobody would give me a shot because I didn't have any experience at all. And I took the initiative and bought books and studied. And what happened was I got a call from a company that said, you don't have the experience, but you took initiative. And with that, we want to give you a shot. And that's where I got my first job as a software developer. Go above and beyond. When you go above and beyond, you stand out from the pack. And it goes a long way in really helping you to be very successful. This one is very personal to me. Invest in self-education. So many people don't read enough. So many people don't study enough. A lot of people would rather get home, watch the Netflix shows, and not really invest in any type of self-education. The reason why this is important to me because my career was shaped by me studying and learning my way to new heights. I started as a software customer rep. I was able to learn my way to get a software tester job. I was able to learn from there to become a software developer. And not only that, I was able to also learn and study my way to become a UX designer, where at one point I was making $160,000 as a designer. That is what happens when you invest in education. There's so much information out there and people are not taking advantage of it. They say knowledge is power, and it's absolutely true. Next thing I want to share with you guys is find a mentor. Mentors really help to shape your career. They guide you, and they also invest in your success, and it goes a very, very long way. The next thing that I want everyone to try to do is to find a sponsor. Sponsors usually work within your company. These are people who have power, who can vouch for you, who have a seat at the table, who can try to create a seat for you at the table. But this is much harder to get because it requires relationship currency. It requires someone vouching for you and fighting for you. And until you have established a great relationship with them, this is much harder to find. The next thing I encourage everyone to do is be a mentor. When you mentor, mentorship is the best way to learn about leadership. You learn how to work with people's strengths, their weaknesses, how to provide constructive feedback, critical feedback, and it goes a long way. Mentorship was how I learned to be a leader, because that's what you become. You learn to shape people's careers, and when you're a manager or a leader, that's what you do. You learn to work with people's strengths, their weaknesses, provide them feedback, coach them, and that, if you ever want to be get in a leadership role, I encourage you to make the time and effort to mentor somebody. And last but not the least, one of my guiding principles in life, always make a total effort, even when the odds are stacked against you. And the reason why this quote is very special and it's important to me was it forces me to not complain. It forces me to acknowledge that there will be obstacles in my path, that there will be challenges that I will face, but all I can control is my attitude and what I bring to the table, and that's it. Otherwise, you end up complaining so much about obstacles and challenges, and you never move forward because you feel like there's somebody else bringing you down. But I have come to the realization that the only thing I can control is me and my effort, and I go all out and I go all in. And my last guiding principle quote that I didn't capture here is, be so good that they can't ignore you. Invest in learning, invest in letting people know the best version of yourself. Again, go above and beyond and stand out from the pack. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, I will be available at the end of the session during the Q&A. Thanks. Have a wonderful day and welcome to Concur.